report. So I've pre-prepared a report, and in there we've got meter readings. So we've got electricity, gas and water meter data captured in there. And then we've put in 2 proposed dilapidations. So we've put in a dirty oven and an overgrown garden that have been picked up in the checkout report. So we're just going to show from the point of checkout how that goes through. One thing I am going to say, we're doing this in our demo environment, so it should work absolutely fine. But no, just to say, our demo environment is slightly slower than our live environment, so you will see a little bit of lag between each action. That doesn't happen in our live space. Our live space is instant. But yeah, just that little disclaimer.
Let me deal with that. Like, oh, demo gods, be kind.
Be kind. Cool. In which case, Whaley, I'm ready when you are. You just tell me when the screen's up, and I'll wade through.
Were you being a little bit cheeky there about the overgrown garden? Or was
absolutely. It's on. Yeah. Funny.
Okay. All right, let's just see. So you won't. I don't think you'll be able to see this, Christian.
No.
But we can see the screen up there fine. We've got the depository screen out. It's wonderful, clean UI, as I've said many times. Lovely dashboard down the left-hand side, just with the toolbar down there. And we're looking at here at the sort of checkout date timeline at the top.
Yeah, so we've got the tenancy timeline. So the inventory relates to the booking and the checkout. So the checkouts. Oh, hello. Checkout's been booked, clean's been booked, and so we've arrived at the checkout day. Now, normally, this next stage would all be done manually. You'd say the checkout's happened, you'd manually upload the checkout report, you'd input the meter data, and you'd input the deduction. So, like I said, I'm going to hop across to the capture system. We've got a report that's ready to go, and we're just going to upload that to the library.
Be 100% clear again there. Nick, this is your system, isn't it?
This is part of our system. And the report's already been completed and done. It's come over from ours.
So we're going to come back in here and we're just going to refresh this page.
It was that simple that Christian did it in the 2 seconds we were talking.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't even. He beat me.
And there we go. So that's the integration pulled through. So you can see we were at the checkout stage. It's completed meter readings and gone through to deductions. And you've now got review deposit deductions imported from No Letting Go. So I'm just going to quickly take you back and just walk through those stages. So with the checkout, it's validated that the checkout's taken place, which has certified the end of tenancy. Yep. It's captured the checkout report in the platform, which anyone can link and open. That has also instantly been emailed out to the landlords and tenants to say it's been completed, it's available to view in the platform. If we come into the meter readings, it's captured the meter reading data. So if we go in here are all the meter readings. So we've captured the date they were read, the reading, the meter reference number, and if there's images of the meter readings as well, that's captured in there. So you've got that. And then, like I said, we go into deduction. So review the deposit deductions imported by No Letting Go, and we click on that. And here are those 2 issues. So we've got the overgrown garden. So it didn't, No Letting Go doesn't have a gardening action. So we put that through as maintenance. We just need to reassign that to gardening class. The agent will assign a value. And then it pulls through any description. So massively overgrown requires grass cutting, etc. And any photographic evidence are also pulled through. Now, the agent can still edit this. So they can reference a tenancy contract. So they can say, oh, F6 in our tenancy contract is the clause about garden maintenance. If they want, they can add, let's say, an invoice. So they can come in here and say, oh, I've got an invoice for that clean. So they can add additional evidence to it. And then when they're happy, they just sign off on that. And that goes to draft stage. And then they do the same thing with the second one. So again, cleaning, kitchen oven, they assign a value to that. And again, they can edit that as they see fit.
Yeah.
Again, upload an invoice for that if they want. Click save. And so that's it. No reading a checkout report. Those 2 highlighted issues are in there. Now, you know, there might be rent arrears on this tenancy. So if an agent wants to add rent arrears, they can just add new deduction. They can come in here and go rent and rent arrears and add in, you know, whatever. I'm not going to add that in. We can cancel that. But the point is that an agent can add to that. And then when an agent's ready, this is what we were talking about earlier, this is the opportunity where if you want to keep that personal touch, this is a really good opportunity to get on the phone to your landlord, you know, and say, look, I don't know if you've already had a chance to look at the checkout report, but there's 2 issues that have been highlighted. We've put them in. I just want to talk through them with you. And then you can have a chat with your landlord, and then depending what your landlord's response is, if your landlord is like, yeah, you know what, I've had a look at the report, I'm happy with that, that can go straight off to the tenants. You just sign off deductions, and if the landlord's given you verbal approval, you can skip landlord approval, and you click sign off, and that will just send those straight off to the tenants to review. Equally, if your landlord's like, do you know what, I'd rather have a look at those and have a bit of time, then you sign off as an agent, and then that goes through a sort of due diligence sign off by the landlord, and then that pulls us through that system. So your landlord will have a chance to edit, add, whatever. So that captures your sort of due diligence in terms of your client sign off, and then we take that process over to the tenants. But I can quickly show you that now. So if we skip the landlord approval, and we do sign off, and then if I quickly jump to my emails,
always dangerous.
Always dangerous. And so here is the email to the tenants. The tenants will get an email like this, which sets out the proposed deductions already in there. And if I open that, can you still see this screen? Because it's an incognito one. So this is the tenant dashboard. So they come in, and literally everything they need to assess this deduction is right there. So they've got the check-in report, the checkout report, the tenancy agreement, any of the uploaded evidence, any of the contextual evidence that's been put in, the description, the amount, the contract clause reference is all there. And so the tenant can then approve or decline according to how they review that. For the purpose of today, we're just going to say, yeah, that tenant's happy with both of those deductions, and they've approved both of those. And if we jump back into here and we just refresh that now. And so we're now onto the refund stage. So ready to initiate refund. And then an agent will just come in and sign off on the final ledger. And that now triggers the payment information with the tenants. So again, if we jump back into here, we quickly refresh that, and we come in here, your money's ready to refund, and we capture this whole process. Now, if it's a TDS custodial tenancy, once you sign off on that breakdown, that just triggers through our integration with TDS custodial instructions to them to facilitate the refund directly. If you're with TDS insured, we will just gather tenants' details. And if it's a joint tenancy, we'll also capture how those funds are allocated between tenants, who gets how much, and where, how, and why. When they submit their payment information, they also have to give us a forwarding address, because again, we know that's another challenge for agents, is capturing forwarding addresses from tenants is really difficult. So if they have to submit payment information, they have to give a forwarding address. And if we jump one more time back into the platform, we've now got this ready to refund. And you can have an accounts user set up within our platform. So if you have a specific member of staff that just does account stuff, they will get a notification at this stage to say this tenancy is ready for a refund. And they will go in, and all the tenant payment information will be there, and they will just notify the system of the date that transaction was made. And again, that will just update the tenant to say your refund has been made. Here we go. So it says, there you go, your refund's been made. And the final thing that a tenant can do, about half of them do this, half of them don't, is they can go in and actually verify that they've received those funds. So you've got that end date. Our tenancy will auto conclude even without that, because obviously, like I said, only about half the tenants do that. And then if I just refresh that, that will be our whole tenancy process completely concluded. And then our platform also auto-generates a completion report, which can be downloaded and saved in your CRM or whatever. And it is literally just a PDF summary of that entire transaction, what was proposed, who signed off, at what stage, etc., etc. So that's it. That's it in a nutshell.
It's a fantastic integration, I think.
Tell me when you stop sharing my screen, and I'll click back so I can see you guys again.
Back in the room now.
Hey, there we go.